get a bit of paint dust on my paper. Doesn't matter, because I'll be painting over it anyway. So I'm just going to be doing this little parakeet, or lorikeet, I think. Anyway, I'm just going to start by drawing a little face. I just thought I'd do something simple and fun. And I like these because they've got like a cockatoo. I think actually maybe it's a cockatiel because it's got the cockatoo, just a tiny little cocky. Because it's got the head crest like a cockatoo, but it's a little one. So I'll draw her little displays all out and showing off like that. I'm only going to get the top half of the bird in. I'm not going to do the whole bird today. Let's do the top bit. These are quite common in Australia. They live in the wild up in Queensland. Oops, my pencil's running out of lead, I think. I'm going to have to get some more lead in there. Now his beak comes down like that. And he's sort of facing a little bit away from us. He's got his head turned. He's got a lovely yellow crest. Draw his little chest comes down the front there. So he's sort of looking like that over his shoulder. I'm going to be doing it in gouache, and this is a tiny ACEO, so it's a tiny painting. It's a miniature. So it's only 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches, which is good fun. I've been really enjoying doing the small paintings. So that pencil's, I've got to get another pencil, grab a fresh pencil. I'll replace the lead in that one later. Do the little sparkle on his eye. Little mark there. He's got beautiful colours on his head too. He's got a cheek here. He's got an orange cheek, yellow onto his neck. Okay. I'll worry about the wing details after. So I'm going to literally go straight in with paint. Now I'm going to get a contrasting colour for the background. So yellow, the contrasting colour is blue. So I'm going to go with maybe an indigo for the background. Grab a bit of cloth and grab my brush I prepared earlier. Where is it? That one? No, that one. Okay, and I'm going to go some indigo for the background. And this is my shin hand wash that I'm using. So, because I want the biggest contrast for the background, because the bird's white and yellow. White, yellow and orange. So, yeah, I want a nice complementary but contrasting colour. So it stands a dark colour, so it stands out. Leave that a bit rough for the back feathers. All right, and I'm just going to literally cut around the bird. Miss his head crest, leaving that exposed. I think this is called negative painting, where you're painting on the negative background. I think. There is another name, I can't for the life of me remember it. Okay. The back one's, this little one's a bit thinner. That. Make it a bit jaggedy around the edges because feathers aren't smooth necessarily. A little bit ruffled when they're resting in a tree. Okay. Just don't want hard lines on her. All right. All right. Get a bit more indigo. I'm just going to go over a little bit because it's a little bit patchy. Just go over it another layer. Try and get up into the edges a little bit. There we go. That just takes out the patchiness a little bit. Get a bit more indigo on my brush, on my palette. All right. So I'm just doing an extra layer of the indigo on the top, just to just even up that background a tiny little bit because it's a little bit mottly looking. To tidy up that beak in a minute, but I will. It's not a problem. You can see I've gone over it with the blue a little bit, but it's okay because gouache, you can go over any colour, so it's absolutely fine. So, okay, so that's all right there. Now, I'm going to do the eye next, and I'm going to use the same indigo for the iris. Cut in and around like that. You've got quite large eyes, and I'm even going to do a actually I won't, I'll use this same indigo for the beak, but diluted. And I'll leave a little bit at the top for the highlight on the top of the beak. And I will go on that with white to tidy up the bit that I got. I covered in a little bit that I shouldn't have. I forgot to draw in the bottom beak, but I'll paint that in like that. And now I'm going to grab my white paint, because that background's pretty much dry now, because it's quite a warmish day here. I'm just going to go over the top of the beak and draw down like that. Oops, got to get the shape. It's a bit more round up there. That's better. Okay, that's a bit better. I'm going to leave that like that for now. Let that dry. And I'm going to go straight into this beautiful orange, reddy orange on his cheek. So I'm going to go, it's a lovely vibrant sort of an orange. I'm just going to block in bright colours. I'll draw feather details over the top towards the end. I'm just blocking in for now. You can see that indigo, when it's diluted, looks quite grey. Okay, so leave that like that. I'm also going to go get my lemon yellow. It is a little bit, whoops. It's got a little bit of greenish tinge to it. I'm just going to clean that off and start again because I've got a bit too much in there. Try and get to some fresh yellow. There we go. All right, and now anywhere there's yellow, this might look a little bit greeny on the camera because there is a little bit of green. But that's okay, I'll pop a bit of white on. At the end. Blocking in anywhere that's yellow, like that. Got a little bit of yellow coming down under her chest, under the wing there. And these feathers on the head are yellow. It comes right down onto her face. So just going to go over the front like that. Get some almost pure yellow. And again, I'm just blocking it in. She's got, this bottom one is yellow, but yellow on the top of her head goes more to the front, so I'll block that in there. It'll take a couple of layers to get it exactly how I want it. Because gouache is opaque, I can actually go over it and strengthen up the yellow. Get a bit more of that detail on there. All right. Now the rest of her is white and grey, so I'm going to go in with my white just to start with and just block her in. And just fill in all around. So yeah, first stage is blocking stage, where you block in all the base colours. What's the way I do it anyway. You can work in sections if you wish. I don't. I tend to work, right, because some people just complete one section and then move on to the next section, but I don't. I block in everything and then add the detail. Just cover over my pencil marks. Her wings are grey, a light grey. Okay. So now I'm going to grab a little bit of my blue that I had and a bit of my white just to make a greyish colour. Just a lighter, just for the shadow areas on the feathers. I'm going to start to mark in some little feathery bits. Feathers on her chest come around like this. I'll add some more white. Hello, Jeremy. How are you? I'm very good, doll. How have you been? How have you been? Okay. And I'm going to use this same sort of grey with the white onto the back feathers, the wings here. And I'll continue down onto that corner, and then I'll build up some layers. Then I can start to add the detail on the top. All right. Take that wing down on that sort of an angle. There we go. Just chilling. Nice. You've been good. Excellent. Glad to hear it, doll. Glad to hear. I'm going to add a bit of brown to this blue to make a grey. I'm going to need a stronger browny grey for the wing feathers. I'm just going to mark in. So I've used indigo and a bit of burnt umber just to, actually I need a bit more indigo with that. Make it more of a blue-grey, that's better. And I can define some of these feathers now. They all overlap. Feathers that can be quite intimidating. You just got to think about them as just little fuzzy shapes. I'm going to blend those up a fraction. So I'm just going to take my brush, add a bit of moisture to it. Just blend that up. Leaving little gaps here and there. Add some highlights back onto the back later. And there's some lighter feathers at the front, so I'm just going to leave it like that pretty much. I'm going to use this same grey I've just made onto the bottom of the beak and just start to build up the layers on the beak at the bottom. So still leaving the top as the highlight. take it up a fraction further, like that. And then having a quick look, I'm going to go in with some super dark, like pure indigo again, just here. I pretty much use indigo as my black. I use indigo and burnt umber to create my black. Okay, I'm going to go back in with pure indigo. Step around into the eye a little bit. Okay, we're starting to get a little bit of detail going. I'm just going to do some edging around his wing. There's shadow underneath the white, and I can add some stronger wing feathered lines coming down here. Don't want to go too heavy on detail. I'm just going to rough in some stronger lines just here and there, just to suggest the feathers. That. I can add a stronger bit down the back here, I reckon. Just a bit here, a bit more there. Okay, I'm happy enough with that. Now I'm going to go pure indigo. Just a line. There. And I'm going to go back into my white, which is a bit muddy. It has been a bit accidentally mixed in. Oops, a daisy, I need a finer brush than that, but that's okay. I'm just going to get that into a tip, into a point, like that, and then carefully mark that line in. Okay. Now, top of this has got a pink beak, pink nose, so I'll go in with my red and I'll just add a bit of white. She's got a pinkish. Well, actually, I've used the orange and a bit of white. That's fine. I'll go back into my red a little bit and pink that off, add some white to it. And just mark in her nostrils. Like that. Okay. And I'm going to go back into the grey, the blue grey, just around the edges. She does have a little bit of dark. I've got to go pure indigo into the centre, her nostrils, like that. Right, now I'm going to try and grab a finer brush. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back into my white. I want to brighten up. Some of these brighter spots on her head. So see how I start with the base and then I build up the layers. I can strengthen up, brighten up this whole outside. Usually I would have left the white of the paper, but I just thought for a change, I would have treated it like watercolour a little bit and done the white of the paper. But I thought, no, I'll do for today. I'm just going to go over this a bit. I'll leave a little bit of that pinkish sort of greyish colour popping through. Let's get rid of some of these darker greys that I've put on there, because I'm not real happy with them. There we go, that's looking all right. All right, having a quick look. I've got to get some detail on these feathers up here. So I'm going to grab my smaller brush. I need to find my teeny tiny one. That's my teeny tiny one. And I'm going to go with my white again. Get a bit more. I need to get a lot of white in my palette so I can get onto the tip, very tip of my brush, so I can draw in the highlights on the head feathers, on her comb or crest. Just want to get these little fine ends onto there like that. Come around. Okay. Then start to draw a little bit of detail into these feathers around her face. And I can just draw the fluffy little edges with white a little bit. Having a quick look. I'm going to go in with my yellow again. Just into here. The very finest tip of my brush. And I'm going to soften up these edges. Because the yellow does come through the orange. Just got to keep following the direction of the feathers. Now I've got to add a bit of blue around her eye, a little bit of blue around her eye. She's got turquoisey sort of blue. Very carefully go around there. Like that. Then do another little line. Like that. Defines her outer eyelid. Like that. Okay, we're starting to get there, peeps. You see, as you add the layers, it starts to look a bit more realistic. Just got to pop a little bit of white back in around the edge. Now I've got to pop some shadow, and I'm just going to use the orange that I've got on my palette. Just to slightly, actually I'll add a bit. What am I going to do with that? I might go a reddy brown actually. I'm not going to go the orange. I'm going to go a red brown for the darker tone in that. I'll go a bit of sienna, I reckon. No, that's too light. A bit of burnt umber. Bit of burnt umber for the shadow in here in the front of her eye. A bit of umber under here for the shadow. A little bit coming around there. Having a quick look. Okay, I might pop a little bit, actually. I'm going to do some white or grey. I'm going to get a bit more grey on my palette. Make it a light, super pale grey. And I'm going to draw in feather details on the wing feathers. So you can still see the layers, the original layers through the bottom. It's a very pale grey I'm using. You can see a little bit of detail. So I didn't worry about detail at the beginning. I just start to add it at the end. Now I've got to add a bit of grey to the darker grey. She had stronger feathers down here. Like that. All right, having a quick look. I can add a bit more blue to a couple of these down this side. Not all over, because otherwise it'll look flat. Just put them in some spots. Okay. A quick look. Now I'm going to go back in with my pure indigo. Got to round up this nostril a little bit carefully. That's better. It's a bit too flat looking. And I'm going to darken up in the very corner of her beak. Like that. And then also darken up down there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bit more yellow because I've realised I need to get that beak a bit more contrast. So I'm going to bring her face feathers out a fraction. Like that. Do I like that? No, I don't. I'm going to cover it again. This is the beauty of gouache. You do something you don't like, you can make it go away. I'll leave a little bit of that, just a little bit. Go over that again. Let it dry, and then I'll go over it one more layer, and that'll totally take that back to normal, how it was. Okay, but that shows you can fiddle with it and you can fix things and move things around. I'm going to go a bit of cadmium yellow as well. Cadmium yellow deep for the darker areas on the yellow. So I'll join that into that white there. The lightest yellow for the top. Whoops, a daisy. Anywhere I do that, I can just top it up. It's not a problem. I can just go over the top and tidy it up. It's a bit darker down here. So I'll go my cadmium yellow deep down there. All right, having a look. Thinking. I've got to go some shadow under her chest. Chest is way too pale. So I'm going to go just in here with some feathery sort of texture. I'll leave the brighter white to the outside. You look at the face again. Add a bit of yellow onto her chest as well, I think. Just a little bit. I'll go pale yellow. I'll pop that in with a bit of white. Add a bit of yellow in here. Like that. There's a little bit of yellow on her chest. I've got to go around the outside, the orangey bit as well, just with a little tint of yellow. Just around that outer edge. Like that. It's only very subtle. And a little bit around the eye as well, I've just noticed. See, the more you look, the more you see. You start looking for detail. The more you look, the more you see. Okay, and I want to bring that orange up a fraction. Under her eye, like that. A bit more white, just to add a bit of detail in here, just while it's still wet. Doesn't want to do it because it's still wet. That's fine, I'll wait. Now I'm going to go into my pure white. I'm going to go on the top. the outside. The cresty bits. Like that. All right. Looking pretty cute. Looking pretty cute. Oopsie-days. Anything that I go out of the area I want to, I can just go back in with indigo. Put it back. If I lose anything, I can put it all back. Put some little lines on her beak. Now after this stream, this will be for sale on my Etsy page. Might take me a few hours to put it up, but I'll get there. But it'll be for sale if anyone's interested. And I can send it anywhere in the world. And I've got my Etsy page linked. I'll pop this link in. Hang on. If I go. Here's my socials. And I've got my eBay page is on there. So I have my art for sale on eBay these days. I've got that linked right there. Just going to soften up around the edge. I can do a couple of highlights on the back of her wing feathers. Not everywhere, just in a few places. Like that. Again, trying to get bright white for there, a bit there maybe. Okay. Having another quick look. I reckon we're looking pretty good. I'm going to grab a bit more of my umber. I'll blend it, add a bit more water to it, soften it a fraction. Get some more shadowy colour. There's a bit more shadow in and around here. Not quite as strong. I'll come down. That part of the eye like that. Bit of shadow under there. Righto. Looking pretty cool. Looking pretty cool. I'm going to add a little bit of that into the darker parts under here. Anywhere I can see. I can go a bit of that orange around her nose as well. It's going to go a bit of my strong orange just around her nostrils, just here, like that. Okay, I reckon I'm going to call that done. I reckon we're pretty close. I'm having a quick look. Might go. Got to tidy up this nostril area a little bit. I'm going to go my indigo. Actually, I've got to tidy up here too. Got to get my indigo and go over that. There's a little bit of a yellow tint still there, so I'm going to tidy that up. Get rid of that. Just around the edge of the beak there, like that. I can blend that down with a bit of a moist brush. Like that. Get that little bit there, a little bit less there. So you can go around the edges and just tidy up any little bits you miss. And I reckon I might call that. I'm going to sign that. I'm going to sign it in, I'll do white down the bottom left. So there we go. Take the edges off. Whoopsie-days. And call that done. So how long did that take? That was half an hour. So it's 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. Very simple little bird painting. Lots of fun. It's not going to stay there. I thought I might be able to get it to stay there, but it won't. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Love it if you click like and subscribe. Click on the bell icon on YouTube. That way you'll get my videos whenever I release them. And yeah, this will be for sale on my eBay, which is linked in my chat there. You can see it up the top there. And I will see you all for the next video. Have an awesome day, night, whatever it is, wherever you are, and I will see you next time. Have a great one, guys and gals. Okie doke. Bye.